I am Anna from Craft Me a Card, and I love crafting for the crafter, and that is you. My mind was blown when I put together some Distress Oxide ink with glossy photo paper. And I don't know if this technique has been done before, but this is completely new to me, and it blew my mind. What happens when we put these two together? No, I do experiment with regular distress ink, and this is photo paper, and it has to be glossy. I mean, you could try with matte, see how that comes out, but this is glossy paper. It's not very stiff, but it is not paper weight like. It's 68 pounds, 10.5 mil, 255 GSM. So yeah, I mean, if you have some photo paper lying around in your house, and maybe you don't, you might want to go get some because this technique is awesome. All right, let me show you what I have discovered. Okay, I'm moving to voiceover now. So first what I do is I cut my sheets of paper in half. And this is just to have more paper to play with. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to start with these three colors, and I'm going to flip the paper over. So on the non-glossy side, I'm going to write the names of the sprays that I decide to use. And Salty Ocean, Cracked Pistachio, and Abandoned Coral. And again, the colors, doesn't matter if they don't make sense. So what you're going to do next is, on the glossy side of the paper, you're going to take these sprays, shake them up really well, and go ahead and spray. There's no rhyme or reason on how I am doing this. Just spray everywhere and mix the colors up on your piece of paper. And if you want, and I think this is a good idea, you can use a splatter box if you don't want spray everywhere on your work surface. At this stage, I wasn't really aware of the effects that all this experimenting would bring, so I wasn't aware very much of all the mess it was going to make. But it's easy to clean up because these are water-based. So I just set this piece aside to dry. I cleaned up my surface just with a paper towel. You could use some water. Sprayed another two pieces and set them aside to dry. I got a little impatient, so I took my heat tool and I started to dry these pieces, moving the heat tool quite quickly across the paper because it can melt due to the coating the glossy paper has. And the other two pieces of paper have Peacock Feathers, Wilted Violet, Twisted Citron, and Picked Raspberry, Salty Ocean, Cracked Pistachio, and Abandoned Coral. Okay, here comes the magic. Simply grab a paper towel or a cloth and wipe off the dried ink. Wait. Let me go ahead and zoom in for you to get a better look at this. And look at what we have behind on the glossy paper. Totally different, completely different colors than what we sprayed. It seems that the glossy paper grabs a hold of the actual pigment in the oxide inks, giving you a completely different look from what you initially were spraying. And the beauty of this is that this paper maintains the glossy finish. So when you're done cleaning the piece of glossy paper, you get a really shiny, beautiful finish. I simply love the kind of color that it gives, the kind of splatter, and this is Twisted Citron, Peacock Feathers, you know, and I think that the Twisted Citron actually comes out yellow, and I think the Cracked Pistachio is this green that you're seeing here, and the Wilted Violet is probably this little purple we have going on, and the pink is the Picked Raspberry. But as you can see, you do not know what color you are going to get until you wipe off that top layer. Now let me go ahead and demonstrate what colors we get with the Salty Ocean, Cracked Pistachio, and Abandoned Coral. All right, here we go. These come out beautiful, and it's a great surprise every time that you wipe this oxide ink off of it. You get a beautiful surprise as to what colors are actually in the pigment of these inks. And this is Salty Ocean that you see down here, and Cracked Pistachio is this green, and then you have the Abandoned Coral, which is that little orangey one. And for our third piece, this is Wilted Violet, Peacock Feathers, Twisted Citron, and Picked Raspberry. Let's see here what we get. Oh my goodness. This is beautiful. I mean, I love the combination of colors, and I mean, the more and the different colors that you put on, you're going to get a different piece every single time. This is such a vibrant and fun piece. And I just love the fact that it maintains that glossy finish. I think it's just awesome. It looks like if the paper were still wet, and it is completely dry. I am sincerely in love. I am literally in love. And I have to confess, I couldn't stop. I did a gazillion of these. I can't wait to use them on cards. Here's another one I did, and I was very pleased with how it came out. These colors are Shabby Shutters, that's the yellow that you're seeing. And then we have Picked Raspberry, that's the hot pink. And then the Abandoned Coral, which is that little orange you see. And yes, later I found out that you do not have to wait for these to dry in order to reveal the color that is under. The glossy paper retains that pigment as soon as it touches the paper. So my dear friends, no drying time is needed. You could immediately discover what colors the paper takes on. And like there are some colors that take on a different color, some take on the color that is intended to be, others completely disappear. And that is the case with Tumbled Glass. I applied Tumbled Glass first, and then I went in with Wilted Violet and Picked Raspberries. But when I wiped it down, Tumbled Glass completely disappeared. It is a ghost color. I don't know what happened with Tumbled Glass, honestly, but it did not show up. So I decided to try with a different blue, and this is Mermaid Lagoon, and I just sprayed it, wiped it off, and voila, there is my blue. So Mermaid Lagoon is one of those that keeps the color that it actually is. And as you may have noticed, hands do take a toll. You could put on some gloves, which I do a little bit later, but this is water-based again, so it comes off. I think it took about a day to actually have my hands completely clean of all this ink on them. Discovering that some colors take on a different color, I decided to make these little swatches. And I'm sure I'm going to make better looking ones later on, but this was just to get through this demonstration for you. So needless to say, it was hard for me to stop. I just keep going, and I made a bunch of different pieces here. And then it occurred to me, well, this is with Oxide spray. I have more of the Oxide Ink Pads that I have more variety of colors. Why don't I try with those? And that is exactly what I did. Since I couldn't spray it on the card, I decided to do the smooshing technique. And I just added worn lipstick and scattered straw, sprayed a little bit of water, and I ran my piece of paper, glossy side down, on these two inks. And look at this beauty. I hope that it maintains these colors. It reminds me of sherbet. I don't know. It's beautiful. It takes on like a marble effect. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's very awesome. I go ahead and I wipe it down with a paper towel. And yes, the colors stay the same. And I'm loving it. It looks marbleized. It looks like fresh wet paint, and this is completely dry. This paper is completely dry, and it looks awesome. Did I say that already? Okay, so those are summer colors. What about cold colors or dark colors? Let's see. Pumice Stone, Hickory Smoke, and Frayed Burlap. Add a little bit of water, and then bring my glossy photo paper and smush it on top. And again, it gives me this marble, awesome look. It looks like coffee and milk together. I don't know. It's just mesmerizing. So go ahead and dry the surface, and then I am going to wipe the glossy paper. And yes, I was very content because it did maintain a lot of those colors that I was seeing on the surface. And it is a beautiful piece. It does look like if it was marbleized somehow. I don't know. It's just wonderful. And again, the piece looks wet, but it is completely dry. Some more playing here with some beautiful colors. Same process. Put the inks down, add some water, smush the glossy photo paper onto your colors, then wipe down, and you get your results. Now this one turned up a lot lighter, but no worries because you can always go back in and add more color. And then you can enjoy the results. This one, it was a little concentrated where the ink first touched the paper. That's where you can see like a little drip there. But again, you can keep adding colors to it and try to cover up and try to mimic, you know, that this was meant to be this way, as you can see that I'm doing here. I decided to add more color, make this a little bit more vibrant. I brought in some broken china and I just smushed it, and look at that. Here is this piece and I love it. I love how it came out. Very cool. Alrighty, bringing in the oxide sprays in for doing the smooshing technique. And that also gave me a beautiful result, as you can see here. Wiped off the excess ink and, oh my gosh, another beautiful piece. Yes, I know. I'm in trouble. So I will be sharing with you some of the cards that I made with these pieces, and you know I always have fun with that, but look at how beautiful. And again, this piece is completely dry. And here's another piece that I wanted to share with you, which I really liked how it came out. It just looks like a marble. It looks like granite. I don't know how to explain it. It's just really cool. I love it. And here's another piece where I did a little bit of black along with some pink. And I also really like this piece. Yes, I could go on and on showing you pieces. But I wanted to also show you that you can also do different designs on the glossy paper. Once I experimented with the brush, I saw, well, hey, look at that. Well, you know what? Let me add different colors. So I was just playing with it. And then it popped in my mind, well, you know, let's do some plaid. So yes, you can do different designs and have lots of fun with it. So yes, needless to say that you can also stamp. I mean, I think the possibilities really are endless here. Okay, so that's with the oxide. What about if we use a regular that is not oxide, that is just distress ink? So here is a sample of that. Once I sprayed regular vintage photo, I picked up the excess ink and voila, beautiful brown. Reminds me of coffee. Woohoo! Went ahead and added a little bit of antique linen, and after wiping it down, this is the result of those two colors together. So I decided to bring in my little mini distress ink little cubes here and try it out. Pressed my paper directly onto it, and these were the results for this, and it took on the ink that it touched immediately. And this is a little bit of you moving the paper around. So yeah, I mean, please, by all means, give this technique a try. It is so much fun, and I will be sharing with you guys different things that I did with this paper. In all honest truth, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I also wanted to share with you some of the cards that I created using some of these pieces that you saw me work on today. I will be sharing different things that I found that you can do with these kind of pieces, different techniques that you can apply to them. I will also be posting on my Instagram and Pinterest some of these pictures of these cards in case that you want to see them still without moving. Search for Oxide on Glossy. That's what I'm going to name this technique. And if you try it, please tag me. I would love to see what you create with this technique. You can find me on all platforms under Craft Me a Card. As you can see with all these cards, you don't need to add a lot once you have the pieces made, because the background gives so much to the card that you don't want to cover it up. So you just add some embellishments, some sentiments. These backgrounds are fun to make and they look beautiful. And you have a beautiful card, especially for mail cards. I invite you to please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit the notification bell so you can get alerted every time I post new content. Like and comment. As always, I hope you get inspired. I hope you create and be happy. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. this does not work the same. I'm so stupid. It's the wrong side of the paper. Duh!